Hey folks, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, hanging out with these nerds.
Nathan Nerdarch.
Nerdarchist dead.
And it's Saturday. It's 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's that time that we do the thing where we talk to all you fine folks. And we've got intern Jake at the helm over there. So with that, you know, it's the week before Gen Con. Me, Ted, Doug, and Jake will be heading to Indianapolis. We have our room. It's like right there. Like we're gonna be able to like skywalk right over to the convention. Whichever. Right to the convention center. Wasn't that a spell, Skylook, back in the day? Yeah, I think it was.
It's a sci-fi thing. It's a sci-fi thing. Get you in space.
Yeah, I think there was actually a spell. You created a hook of force. It didn't do anything. He's just there. You could use it.
If it doesn't put you in a low Earth orbit, I'm not excited about it.
So, you know, that's coming up. So we're like cramming in shooting videos today. We're going for our all-time world record for a number of videos we've shot using the 3-camera shoot.
Yeah, so far we've already recorded 4 today, which is on point with what we did last week, and we want to do more after this, and then we have your game tonight.
We do. So, you know, although in the past, like I think we have done 10 videos in a day.
We've done 11.
Oh God, forgot about that extra.
Some of them 45 minutes long.
There was a day that we started way early in the morning on a Saturday, and we just went all day.
Yeah, it's special. By the end of that day, you just want to put a shotgun in your mouth and pull the trigger with your big toe. It just seems so appealing. Your head is like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Either that or just, completely walk away and be like, all right, guys, I'm done with you.
You feel, yeah, fuck you guys. I hate you guys so much. It's enough.
What translates into like 6 hours in front of the camera?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much.
At least.
It was a lot.
Oh, no. I think it's more than that with 11 videos, especially back then when we were shooting a little bit longer videos. And it's like, it's not like you're going to like run right in. So it's to them. So it's like there's little breaks in between.
Figuring out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it.
And there was like 4 of us in the shot at that time. So the videos did tend to ramble on a bit longer.
Indeed.
It was brutal. The life of a YouTuber. You guys are like, I don't really care. Just put out another video. Shut up and stop your whining.
Wait, you don't do 10 anymore? No.
So as always, guys, thanks for tuning in on this Saturday afternoon or morning, depending upon, or night, depending upon where you happen to be listening in. Any questions, comments, what have you, just throw a question or Nerdarchy in there if you want us to weigh in.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier for intern Jake to pull them out of the chat that way, for sure. So, I guess Wednesday's my birthday, and that's when we were flying out to Gen Con. I know Cody wants to meet up when we get in.
Okay.
He wants to shoot some collab videos. He's got a suite over there.
From Taking 20.
Yeah, Cody from Taking 20 on Saver Dice places. Most of you guys probably know who that is anyway. So, what else is on the agenda, folks?
Well, we had some stuff show up in the mail this week. I figured we'd, show it off and talk about it. We should have figured this out beforehand, but, we don't have any regular, monthly giveaways, but if we want to grab something random off the shelf, we can do another giveaway. I mean, we are heading to Gen Con, so
it's true.
Potentially we could come home with some more giveaway stuff.
Well, we're gonna have to find a place to put it. Because we're not driving this time. We're gonna be flying.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how I can pack everything and have space in case more stuff's coming home with.
You know you're gonna bring stuff back, Ted.
Well, I know I'm gonna bring some stuff back.
You should.
What if we could just ship stuff back from the hotel?
That's always possible as well.
Media mail.
So you know what? I got a bundle in the mail like 2 weeks ago. I keep meaning to bring it. We're probably going to give you guys some stuff out of there. But there was a D&D book. I don't remember if it was Xanathar's Guide to Everything or if it was Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, to be honest with you. And like a Golden Dragoon and stickers and some other stuff. But I have no idea who sent it to us. Like, I know the person. Like, I have a name on the return address, but I don't know who she is. I don't know what company she's affiliated with. I know it came from California. Judging by the packet that came in, it's a Wizard of the Coast thing for sure. But yeah, So I know.
But it went to you personally.
Nah, it probably came to Nerdarchy. Or
Okay.
maybe it did come to me. I think it was
'Cause
Nerdarchy.
usually Nerdarchy stuff tends to come here.
A lot of times it does.
So-
Unless someone asked for my address specifically, and someone must have, but I don't know. It's a mystery. People just randomly send us stuff. I don't know. But I don't know. It means you're probably going to give another book away. That's what it probably means.
That too. But here, right now, during this live chat, what are we selecting? Do we have?
So are we going to give something away today?
Oh, we could. What do you got
All right.
over there?
Until
So
a pile gets smaller over there. We need
There's
to
that
keep
big
playing.
mini right there. He's really cool.
Actually, this guy, we need more D&D book space, so I think the Red Dragon's got to go.
$2,000.
Okay.
You pay me $2,000 and you can give that away.
What do they go for on eBay?
At least 1,000.
Wow. That was a good present, Dave.
Yeah.
I know. It was too good. I'm taking it back.
So we can either do some decks of cards, we can do some movies, we can do
Ooh,
novel.
movies. We got movies?
We got movies. So the
A lot of them.
we got a stack. Well, we got a whole stack from the gamers group.
Okay.
So we can go through. We got the whole trilogy
Okay.
of the gamers.
Got the whole trilogy.
So we could go with that as a packet, or we've got Journey Quest and Houses and Humans.
I haven't actually seen Houses and Humans.
Well, that one's off. That one just came off the block.
So I'm up for giving away the gamers trilogy. How do you
If I
guys
type
feel
a bunch in there, can I get that?
So how do you guys feel about that?
Give away the trilogy. Give a whole bundle away. I don't know. How big is that stack over there?
Well, the
I think this is all the video.
that's all the
No,
videos.
I meant in general.
In general, I mean, we've got
You want
one,
to stick
two.
other stuff in there?
No.
No?
Season
got-
1.
Do you have Darkest Dungeon?
We have 7 decks of cards and a novel, and these videos in our non-gaming books pile.
That's the non-gaming book.
That's
pile.
the non-gaming books pile. And
But,
then we
but not necessarily non-gaming stuff, right?
right, yeah, this is all loosely related. Like the farthest thing we have is
How many people we got in the chat today?
Yeah, a lot of people.
we have a.
I had a Paizo's on here too. That's cool. I didn't know
Wizards
that.
is on
What's
one.
that?
Wizards is on that one.
Oh, that's weird. they get Paizo on the spine and then Wizards. Who knows?
But I didn't believe this is signed by Mercedes Lackey somewhere.
Yeah, that was a. I think that was a Gen Con get.
So Elvin Bane is that's like the furthest removed from gaming that we have.
What do you guys in the chat think? How many did you say were on there, Jake? I asked them to listen.
The actual number...
What do you guys think? Maybe
24 peeps.
24 of you guys. Where's everybody at today? That's not enough people. We're not giving away anything. You guys need to start hitting some shares.
Tell your mom to log in.
Get your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother to log in, even the dog. I don't know. You guys think we should give away just like this stack? I feel good, man. I feel like Santa Claus. That's a lot of movie. I don't know.
To one person, or are we splitting it up?
I always just do one person.
Wow.
One lucky person.
Dave's
a block.
Dave's generous today.
You guys can veto me if you want.
I think I would break it up into 2.
I'd break it up into 2.
You guys are freaking stingy. You see that? They're stingy. They're
I
like
wanna-
Scrooge McDuck.
I want to spread the love.
Yeah, take back the red dragon.
And so to bless one person so they can feel better than everybody else. They can look down upon them from their throne of conquest.
Yeah, that's at least like
That's at least-
5 inches taller than.
That's at least $4 right there. Like,
In the bargain bin.
Yeah, look, you can't
Feels-
find these in the
feels
market.
like the Afghani kids selling the ripped DVDs.
Oh, yeah.
$1.
That's sweet. It's taller than the sign.
It is. It's going above the sign.
As long as it's stacked on the other books.
Yeah. We do have a couple other books here. Actually, one of them is probably going to be a
Breaking it
giveaway.
with your
Yeah,
specificity.
one of them absolutely is going to be a giveaway.
What do you got behind? What are you hiding over here?
So I backed Nerdarchy backed the Kickstarter from Jetpack 7, Masters and Minions, and our copy showed up, and along with it was yet another copy of Gods and Goddesses.
How many? Have we given them all away yet?
Yeah, we gave away the 4 that we got.
Yeah.
I think we did anyway. So there's one more for the stack of 5th edition material. It's over on this side here. So that'll be a giveaway at some point in
That
time.
stack is like 12 inches tall.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4,
So that's
5.
pretty high.
That was 14, so it's 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. There's over 20 books here.
That's a lot of D&D books.
Ooh, it's got magic items in it.
It does.
Yeah, that's got all kinds of... Like, the art is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at...
What is it? What's the name of the art company that they have? It's Conceptual... It's probably... It's Conceptualopolis or something. It's like a mouthful. It's got to be in there somewhere.
I'm looking for it.
Because Jetpack is their... maybe under the art credits.
Yeah.
Jetpack 7 is their gaming company, and they've done like they've done a bunch of art for Wizards of the Coast. They did like the packaging on G.I. Joe, and so they've gotten a lot of work with Hasbro. But when we've had Aaron on, like he's got the G.I. Joes all behind him on the wall because they did the art for it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Aaron was actually emailed us in to Nerdarchy, asking about getting some time, maybe doing some videos at Gen Con.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things we want to try and do is do like a regular Nerdarchy video, but with another creator or something where either me or Ted will sit in on the video, and we'll do like a regular Nerdarchy video, but we'll get their spin on things. Yeah, that would be kind of cool and fun.
But the Masters and Minions book, it's supposed to be a level 1 through 20 book to be able to take an adversary and have them have minions and how to use them for encounters or for an actual like story arc.
So what you're saying is there's a master and minions in there, a book full of those,
and how to properly use them. That's the
as opposed to improperly using them. We also have a GM 911 here from Victor over on. Oh my God, Ted! Would you just pick the smallest font?
I did it just to torture you.
I know. Like you got all. Look at it. Look, we got all this page, right? All of this page. See all that white space, and he uses like this much. I'm like, you remember my cheap ass boss I used to work for, right? He would like. We eventually started just using our phones, but he would print out MapQuest in like 2016. He was printing out MapQuest directions for us. We're driving in the dark in a truck that's bouncing around, and he's printing them out at like 8. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna run someone off the road just trying to see where I have to make my next right. You're that guy, Ted.
And if you printed it for the full page, be upset you couldn't fold it now. So I'm just saying.
All right, Ted will read the GM 911.
So, I have a warlock in my game that has been going on for a while. She is a new player when the campaign started and wanted to play a warlock, but gave me next to nothing on background or even patron. I was fine with this as I let them do the Adventure League rule of being able to change up your PC till level 5, as all my players were new and would ask to change them in between sessions all the time. This player came back to Warlock before level 5 and stayed with it. I'm a very relaxed DM, but I ask my players to use or incorporate most of their class. The Warlock player had not picked a patron yet. I did not really push till level 6. I spent some one-on-one time talking about where she wanted to take her PC and how she felt about the development so far. I even showed her a video of replay ideas for Warlock patrons. This is where the 911 comes in. My Warlock picked the Demigorgon. I wanted to be a good DM, so I started looking this up. I talked to my player and suggested a new pick, as I feel this pick was cataclysmic. She really wants to have this one, and to be fair, I asked her to pick something and did not put any restrictions on it. DM should expect the unexpected, but I was not ready for it. We are a heavy RP group, and from what the veteran players that have popped in and played a few sessions with us, I want to incorporate this in the game more and make it feel like a meaningful choice for her that has consequences. But if all my friends are saying to make her go insane and re-roll or just kill her, as that was what the Demigorgon would do. I've kicked around the idea of the end of the campaign where there's a Kraken invasion due to the Warlock-patron relationship, but how do I make the game work and have it feel like she has the Demigorgon as a patron?
One, I don't think your friends truly understand the Demogorgon. The Demogorgon does actually have goals and objectives. The Demogorgon is two entities. I would, in my mind, compartmentalize each one of those personalities. And then, if you're going to incorporate plot hooks or adventures based on the patron, I would make them conflict each other often, because because her patron is really two. So I don't think it's that hard. I don't even think it really comes up that much in a lot of our games, and it's kind of like, well, how much time do you want to give one particular player, over the rest of them? How vested are they going to be in that story? So you kind of have to balance that out. So I would just, like, every once in a while, little things like, oh, Demogorgon wants you to do this, and then, like, 2 sessions later,
undo it.
Yeah, it's like, go dig a hole, now fill it in. There might be some of that going on. Sometimes it might be random, might have no purpose, but other times it may very well have a specific purpose. For instance, like, steal something from somebody, and then you have to get it back to them at a certain point. Well, that seems to not make any sense, except for in, the Demogorgon knew for a certain period of time, if they don't have this object, they couldn't use it to do a certain thing. But afterwards, they needed them to do something else with it, so they have to have it back now. So you become the way that they remove it and put it back. So you can do things like that are kind of weird. And because it's also the fact that you have 2 different people making plans, and they may not consult each other when they give that plan to you. It's like calling into a company, right? And you need to talk to a specific department, and you do, and then you need to talk to another department, and you realize no one has any idea what anyone else is doing. It's just like that. So, customer service from the abyss.
So Dave's got it, spot on, if you ask me. The Demogorgon, he's a demon. He's a bad guy, and there's going to be stuff that is going to come up in the game, and I would have, sometimes you got to make the hard choice. Have them, okay, this is what I would like you to do. Don't demand it. Just say I would like it, and see where that goes. And you could have maybe not consequences, but have the player find out things that are going on. Now, as Dave said, you don't want to focus in on one player, so you want to give all of your players as much backstory integration as you're doing. So if you're going to do this amount for everybody, then yay, great. If not, I wouldn't go crazy with all of this stuff just because this character's playing a warlock, or this character is a warlock. But okay, well, I want you to do this task. All right, if they do the task, well, maybe something horrific happens. Oh, I want you to do this task. Well, maybe if they don't do it, something horrific happens. But you want to weigh these decisions, with some caution, because realistically, these demons are super intelligent, and they're giving you these things for a reason, and they want it so that it's going to, in the end, you're a warlock after all, you've gotten power from demons, it's supposed to further their ends, it's supposed to make, evil shine, and maybe the demons get more influence on this world. So maybe saving that infant's life, maybe she grows up to be a supervillain. Maybe, something else goes on. So there's lots of ways to have good actions result in bad ends.
Yeah, demons that are going to be able to give you a pact for Warlock aren't going to be the cookie cutter Saturday morning villainy. It's going to be less direct. And also it's like, pick the right tool for the job. So as far as these massive, ridiculously powerful entities are concerned, all the warlocks are just simply tools that they've polished or activated or whatever. So that if your character's going to have a problem with what they want you to do, they'll just think of how to tell you it so that you'll do it, or how to tell you do this particular task. I'll have my other guys who don't mind assassination do this other thing. You're just kind of like opening the door for them, or you're doing something benign that's actually assisting them in what they want to have happen. It's kind of rough when you're like, oh, the warlock's got to have this like conflicted thing going on because of who they picked, while the fighter, well, what if the fighter has a sense of honor and something like that, but it's not mechanically tied to what he does as his class. So when he is total coward or something, he doesn't have any penalty for that unless he wants to RP that. So similarly, it's kind of, don't like floor it when it comes to having to deal with the RP on the Warlock in comparison to everybody else.
And, it's just how much time does it take. I believe, I think Demogorgon's actual end goal is to destroy everything, every living thing in the universe. And then, there's the myth that then afterwards that the personalities will turn on each other, destroying the Demogorgon itself, leaving nothing. So, I think that is kind of, the end goal. So, I don't see why going insane, why the goal would be to make that player insane. At least not before they've, done the thing that needs to be done.
I have questions when you are ready.
Absolutely, go for it.
Elfbait asks, are you forcing Jake to grow his beard to uniform Nerdarchy standard?
We're trying, but Jake is really big.
I have not laid forth any demands. What about you guys?
It's just peer pressure, that's all. If he folds to it, that's his thing.
I mean, I brought it up to the wife, he grew the beard. Do we need to get him a pair of fake glasses so that he's got the full uniform?
Maybe.
I haven't had a beard in 10 years. I'm just trying it on.
Yeah. He's got some scruff going. You can see the video from him last night, running a game, so you can see what he's got going on. It's not scruff. It's more than scruff. It's
definitely beard.
It's a beard. It's a baby beard.
I mean, I've trimmed it down for the last 2 months.
Oh.
All right. DM Don asks, what are you guys most excited for in the upcoming con?
To me, I'm excited about how much stuff there's going to be there to see. I have never been to Gen Con before, so getting out there and seeing how much there is in gaming is gonna blow me away.
My response is much lamer than that. It's being right there at the con and not having to drive into it every day and look for parking and haul stuff around and Uber around. It will be so nice to just walk across the Sky Bridge.
I hope Yacht Club Games is there with Shovel Knight.
Is that what you're looking for? You could probably look that up and see, or reach out to them and be like, hey.
There's fans that I know that are going to be out there. There's a variety of different companies that we've met that are going to be out there. So I'm mostly looking forward to seeing people. I'm not going to any specific events that are going on there. I'm there for the people, not as much the experience.
We get 2 to 4 emails a day from people that are there but they're mostly for things I don't care about.
There are a lot of board game and video game companies that I've been contacted by, and it's
card games. It's do you even look and do any research?
I can understand when board game companies contact me, because for a long time I did a board game article on the website every single Monday. But I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but I don't feel like they're actually looking at that.
They're looking at Nerdarchy Does Games, and that's it.
Yeah, it's usually most of the a lot of that traffic is generated from the YouTube channel anyway.
Right.
I'm like, you guys don't watch our channel.
All right. Altriel asks, do you guys think that if Scott's Aeson Eyeless Seer would become an emperor, what do you guys think of his character would be called?
Caligula?
The Eyeless Emperor.
Yeah, I mean that's the go-to.
That's his theme,
Did you see the post on the Company of the Nag about someone running their home game using our combined material?
I did. Art Terrell is actually the one that posted it in the Nag.
Okay.
For a friend. They're taking the idea that the Narcitus wins and the Vargarians are still around.
And
so it's a post-apocalyptic world full of blood cultists and Arcanoborg.
And Narcitus himself, or itself, however we want to define it, becomes Vargarian as well.
It sounds like a better game than the ones we're running. Can we just sign up for that game?
So it's man, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
And he brought in the Eyeless Seer as all part and parcel with it. And I'm like, wow, this
He should
is
have been the catalyst. He should have been the one to make it all happen.
Well, he saw the future.
Kyle Ellis wants to thank you, saying thank you for the advice that you gave for reskinning monsters. Kyle Ellis did not like the metallic dragons because all the colors are basically the same, just different hues of the same dull brown. So Kyle Ellis has reskinned all of their metallics to be chromatic colors, but metallic.
I don't remember which advice we gave on what.
I mean, we talk about reskinning monsters all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a GM 901 that we did last week about reskinning stuff, but I mean, giving a different visual for something that's already there is a fantastic point of advice that we use all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it could look like anything. I think, I think one of my dragon reskins, I made the Radiation Dragon, and that was, I think I literally just used Gold Dragon.
That's in Kingdom Death. The Dragon Prince is a Radiation Dragon.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So it was basically it was a Star Dragon, that's what it is.
From the Tome of Beasts.
No,
That's
I'm pretty
that's
sure
a Void Dragon.
Void Dragon is in there. I'm pretty sure I just used the Gold Dragon, changed the breath weapon to radiant damage, so, and of course the spines on its back light up when it breathes.
Godzilla style.
Yeah, man.
And it flew around in the void of space.
And it flew around in the void of space.
That was a fun game.
Yeah, because Star Dragons are very aerodynamic in space.
Makes sense.
Not a lot of arrow out there. Deba asks, what are some interesting ways to do leveling up with role-playing? Because I feel like I'm missing a lot of opportunities there. I think in regards to, having them train, almost like Rocky montage style, maybe?
We haven't done that kind of stuff in a while.
Ever. I don't think we've ever done it. But, the interesting role-playing stuff you would do would be either via mentors or maybe multi-classing into a class that someone else in the party is, and they're kind of doing the training with them. But I think the biggest opportunity is going to be mentoring, training halls, if you're a martial character, or it could even be like gladiatorial style games, not necessarily combat, or, some kind of arcane academy for your bards and your wizards where they go and they study. Sorcerers don't have to do anything. Warlocks don't have to do anything. Paladins, we train martially. Clerics might have to put time in the church, but not necessarily, because they're just granted power. Anyone that's like granted power, that it just kind of happens. They don't really have to do a whole lot. I mean, we're playing the Scarlet Sisterhood. We added another player in, and when she started, instead of saying she progressed to level 16, we didn't do that. She just woke up one day and was a level 16 cleric. That much power was just vested into her. So, which is it creates some fun and interesting situations in the game, because she'll do things because she doesn't have the experience to go along with it. Like, oh, you need to go to that place there that we're looking at through this scrying device. I can do that, and then plane shifts them without a way to get back, because she only had one slot. And so things like that can happen.
It's kind of hot here.
And it was funny because Deneen had promised her husband she would be back that night.
Sorry, honey, we were in a different plane of existence. I couldn't make it for dinner.
Exactly, that's what happened. And then she came home and the couch was all made up as a bed for her. These things happen.
I actually did it with one of my favorite characters ever back when I was playing Pathfinder. It was a priest, it was a cleric that started out as a mortician's assistant and ended up eventually becoming a crusader prestige class. But the whole time to do that, he trained with an NPC over just small portions, 5-10 minutes in multiple sessions, probably 10 sessions was doing training with him to learn how to use a spear and a shield.
Well, you can also, if you go by the really old school style druid, they had to seek out I got to seek out the Hierophant or the next person in line
and whoop their ass.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't going to that level of degree. Okay, well, maybe every so often you have a threshold where you have to seek out and find a specific mentor or someone that can train you to get through the next thing. Maybe that's every time you change proficiency modifiers, or every 5 levels, or however it is that you want to, do those kind of things. That can add some interesting little tidbits into it. It's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter how many sessions you decide to, goof around until you find that guy, you're not getting at that level. So then it's on you guys to do the work.
It just becomes an area in the game where you can highlight certain NPCs and locations. And that's how I would look at it. Which is tough too, because if you have a campaign that's spanning the globe, the world, other planes, then it becomes a lot harder, because how do you get back for training? How do you do this? We kind of hand-wave a lot of that in our games and don't necessarily worry about it so much. In our Griffin Gaff games, it would be a lot easier for us to do that kind of stuff, because we kind of stay localized. But we've also been in games where you start someplace and we'd never go back there. So how would you do the training that way? So a big part of it is going to be informed by the style of game you're playing. Then it could also be informed by whether your players actually care about that. Then there is whether you as the GM, how much do you actually care about that as well. So, it's just finding the ground betwixt all of those things that works best for your group.
And I would say if you reward the players with, let's say they want to search out a mentor or something like that, and that mentor is going to give them insight or an interesting quest or anything like that, you're going to have that kind of incentivize the idea of, well, we want to find mentors because they interact with us, they understand what we're going through at whatever level you are, and that's something that can just slowly build up into NPC relationships where you're gaining a lot out of it. And even if they move, let's say, from one place to another, you can still have that kind of, well, I should probably go visit the wizard tower because I'm a wizard in the area and I just got here. So it would be kind of rude to hang out here and not go visit the people that are, in essence, running the mage thing that's happening in the area.
Although if you are more larcenous and you show up in a new town, you might get a visit by the Thieves Guild and be like, hey, we've heard about you, especially if they have any kind of reputation.
Right.
Or if they start doing anything in that town. In either case, they might show up and be like, hey, we've heard about you and your exploits, and yeah, guess what? You work for us now.
You've been drafted, or you need to get out.
Or you have to pay dues, or, hey, we've got an opportunity for you. There's different ways you could work that, for sure.
And if you just want to be kind of not really heavy-handed with it, you can just say, you come back into town, you hang out, you train, and you just go through a breakthrough, oh, I figured out, this makes sense now. That's why I'm better at combat. That's why I got extra spells. And just have it be something you just do. Every time someone comes back to town, they all go their separate ways. One of them visits a blacksmith, one of them visits the library, another one visits, he goes out in the woods and does ranger things, whatever rangers do. And, that's what they do, and that's kind of their...
Bears, mostly.
That's their recuperation.
You don't have to leave town for that.
That's their recuperation time. That's their kind of reflection on what has happened when they were out gaining the XP that they're going to use for leveling.
So, whatever level you think is going to enhance the play at your table. So tonight I'm running, and I think it's going to be a small table. It's just going to be the 4 of you guys. We got the Gobelos, Mark, and you.
So we got no serious magical might. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. You know what? I think we're going to do a circus episode, a circus session.
Okay.
Well, the Gobelos, we did that already.
The revenge.
The Gobelos have been building their circus for a long time now, so I think it's finally time to have a show.
Okay.
Is it a flea circus or an actual thing?
An actual thing.
Oh, all right.
They have this rich estate that they've inherited, and they've used it to build a circus on. They got the big top going up. They've been practicing. They've been recruiting.
Like a theme park.
Might be.
I was I was going to begin trying to push towards figuring out what that Vargarian leader was and how we can deal with him, but.
That can happen too. We can do all kinds of things.
That was where that's where I was going, because he needs to come down. In order for that to happen, we need to know.
Invite him to. He gets a golden ticket.
Yeah, to the circus.
I think I've read just about every book in that damn library by now, so I have to have gotten some kind of inclination as to what he is. So we need to figure out how to bring this guy down.
We do.
So we've only got a handful of levels. Eventually, you're gonna allow us to finally get the frickin' 17th level.
Maybe. I don't know how long you've been at 16th level.
Wow.
Anthony, if I give you guys a level, Anthony's going, oh my god, a level already? We just got to 16th.
And it doesn't help that you keep canceling the sessions on us, too.
Well, that's problematic, too.
Say there's a lot of times passed, like 6 months has passed. There you go. Level.
You say 6 months has passed, and that gives me a new language, so I'm all for that.
Bam. Well, maybe we will do a time skip tonight. I don't remember when the last time skip was.
It's been a while.
It's been a while?
Yeah.
All right. Like 10 years have gone by.
I've got them all now.
All 44?
No.
Ice roll?
Ice Toad.
You speak,
Ice Toad.
Yeah, you speak all the
And
languages,
Pokar.
but you're also insane now. Some other things happened.
Charles Cole asks, are you guys running games at Gen Con?
Never! No, we are not. We did not sign up to run any games.
We did not sign up to run any games. If we haven't gotten enough, real responses about fans that are going to be there, so we don't have any meetup scheduled thing happening yet. But there's nothing to say that we might not throw an impromptu game if we get people to do so.
Yeah, if enough people reach out to us and be like, we're going to be at Gen Con, and we can square off some free time, we can all meet up somewhere and throw some games down.
I will run for all of you YouTubers. How's that?
There you go.
Oh,
Fine.
geez, yeah.
There'll be a bunch of us there. Cody's going to be there. From Taking 20, Mike from Unmade Gaming is going to be there.
It'd be cool to see him in person.
The bad boy of D&D is going to be there. Grant Ellis.
Nice.
Although I think he's operating as a kobold, so he'll be running lots of kobold press games. I'm thinking.
Midgard stuff.
Yeah, Midgard stuff.
Altrail
asks, which Nerdarchist was to blame for the accidental re-upload of Session 32?
Nate.
Well, I'm the only one that uploads the videos, so.
Not true.
We'll
Oh, that's true. That's not
Uploads
true.
those, so before I get hit with any, this is my fault.
And we never found out who.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Michael Francis Jr. asks, what is your favorite go-to big bad?
I don't really have one. I make my big bads different every time. It's like whatever mood strikes me, what's going on in the game. A lot of times the players kind of dictate what the big bad is going to be for my games. They kind of inspire me. Or maybe a racist and a bunch of Nazis will show up on your YouTube channel and give you a hard time and threaten your life. And so maybe you turn them into your big bad. You can come up with a big bad anyway. They just happen.
With the current game, I've got a demon thing happening, and I didn't plan that from the beginning. It just is okay, the players bit into this, and as the story unfolded, they eventually we're taking this guy down. I'm like, all right, that's the rest of the game then. Let's ramp this stuff up. Let's have stuff going on, and I just poured on the demon throttle.
So there are some places we will be running games though for sure. Gen Con, we probably do something random, but Gamehole Con we're definitely going to be running games. I think we have to. I think we're contractually obligated to run games. So there for sure, and also D&D in the Castle will be the night GMs. So it'll be Nerdarchy After Dark, essentially.
Oh, cool.
Although, which is weird. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. We'll be in England, not France. But in France, it was dark. Stayed late until 10 o'clock at night. I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
Is that right?
Yeah, if you're going the wrong time in Europe, there's basically no day or there's no night.
Yeah. So it just seemed like it was daylight all the time, except for when I was going to bed at 3 in the morning. So
Then it was finally dark.
So now the question is do we run our go-tos, or do we come up with something special?
yeah, maybe an interlaced campaign that kind of affects each other, and especially we can see what the castle is, and we can take the castle floor plan and turn that into the adventure or something. I don't know. We could probably do some things with that for sure.
So there's definitely some things to look at, and we have time to plan for those. So we could pull out a new go-to.
Could do a non-standard things like everybody's undead or ethereal or something strange.
I had I've been reading a book series that my son and wife have been reading, and they're like, you should really get into it. It's the Wings of Fire series, and I think it's more juvenile style writing, but it's a story from the dragon's perspective. and like the humans that exist on the world are referred to as scavengers, and they're always after the dragon's treasures.
Sounds about right.
But like dragons run and rule the world. There's different types of dragons, just like we have in D&D, but they're themed differently and what have you. And I'm like, how hard would it be to run a game of dragon player characters? Wormlings are size medium. You could just describe yourself as draconic and use one of the other race templates that are already out there. Like, you could totally do something like that.
Oh, yeah. Council Worms, maybe?
Or you just play Rifts. Rifts is in the core rule book, and the newest one, there is a playable race, which is Dragon.
But the problem is you have to deal with Palladium.
I suppose.
And just throw that out there.
Yeah, I don't know if they've done a revision or cleaned things up, which I don't know that they have or not. But yeah, that is like my thing with Palladium is it's like based off of 80s role playing games, which were super crunchy, full of tables, very inconsistent, and I'm just not interested in that style anymore.
It's tough. And we've said it. We'll play just about anything.
Unless asked.
What?
Unless asked.
Well, we Dave and I were in a Ninja Turtles game over on it was SR2 Joker.
Yeah.
Over on his channel, and like I rolled up 2 different characters, and their rolling method is pretty ridiculous. And I had a average, character. I went up with a ninja squirrel, and
as you will, average.
And
totally normal.
And then I rolled a second character, and everything about that second character was superior in every way, shape, and form. I think I was like a badger, which had better stat drops as opposed to like regular money. I pretty much, owned anything and everything I wanted. So it was like, oh yeah, I bought a van, I've got all this computer stuff. So like when the 2 characters broke out, the ninja grabbed a sword and darted out the window. The badger, beat up a couple of guards, stole the keys to the truck, unloaded the computers, all the weaponry, the explosives, put them in the back of the van and said, see ya, and laughed. And I'm like, why would I not play the hedgehog? It was ridiculous. Or badger.
I was like, was it a badger? Was it a hedgehog?
It was a badger.
What was it?
Squirrel.
Was it a squirrel?
So, like, I felt like it was a problem with the system.
And to what Jake just said, I will say we will play anything. What we run, we're more choosy with. That's kind of like our rule. Like, if there's a bunch of people playing a game and we want to play with those people, I think the general consensus around here is we will play it even if we're not particularly in love with the system, but we're not going to run a system we don't care for, because that seems masochistic to me. So
that pretty much hits the nail on the head, because regardless of what the rules of the game are, you can role play in any system, and that interacts the same. It's a conversation between
even if you don't know the lore of the world.
Even if you don't know the lore of the world.
40K, anybody?
But once you get down to the rules, that's when hiccups can happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, we speaking of 40K, this last week I was in the 40K premiere with Guy from How to Be a Great GM or Great Game Master, also Ben from Puffin Forest, and Cody from Taking 20, and then Ross Watson, I believe he actually wrote the game, was on as the GM and
credited as lead designer.
Yeah, and so it was a lot of fun, and he was a good GM too. He ran a good game. He was fun. He let the players kind of do stuff, and I think we messed up his game fairly early on. I don't know what we were supposed to do, but we did some other stuff instead. But hey, I got to call people. I got to accuse people of heresy. That was the only thing that really truly mattered.
And that's what you were going for.
Yeah. So, and we did get the call down a tactical
nice
strike. So that was kind of
important. Did you guys do Exterminatus?
We did an orbital strike.
Oh, okay, that's an orbital strike. Nice.
So, but in case you haven't seen it and you want to watch, it was actually, I thought it was a really entertaining game. to play. I think people enjoy watching it as well.
Is that a one of, or you got a certain amount of episodes?
Well, that's the premiere. Some others might happen maybe in the future.
Okay.
It's not set in stone yet, but I heard rumors, and if it does, it'll probably happen over on Saver Dice.
Cool.
So that was a lot of fun.
I'll run it for me. I'll run it for you. Run you through the gambit of 40K.
Nice. Well, I like the Dark Imperium, the way they did that, because it diverged from the normal Warhammer lore, in the sense that like you're separated from the main hosts of all of your armies, your species, your races. So it opens it up to where you can have partnerships and alliances that would normally not take place. Like, I hate games that have this rich lore and history and all this exciting stuff going on, but then they like segregate it into all these different parts, so each one becomes its own game, and you have to pick and choose which one you want to play instead of playing with all the things.
So,
looking at you, World of Darkness, looking at you. Like, I want to play a mage alongside a werewolf and a vampire, but they just don't work out very well. The system isn't designed that way. So to me, it's like,
at least the edition that we've played.
Yeah.
We'll put that caveat out there, but I don't think
most of them are like that.
I haven't heard anything to say that there's been a change where the things have been integrated.
And 5th edition Vampire is just Vampire. So, if they do other ones, I don't know if they're going to integrate. Actually, didn't the company split? Didn't Werewolf and Vampire split or something?
White Wolf and Vampire the Masquerade? I have no idea.
Yeah, so where are you at, Nigel?
Not in the chat.
But to that end, it's like, why would you build this like rich world with all these things in it, but you can only interact with it through one perspective?
So you can only be a vampire. You can fight werewolves, but you can't be a werewolf and a vampire teaming up against something else.
Because they're different.
I love that. You would absolutely hate Fantasy Flight's 40K series, where they basically had 5 different games depending on which faction you wanted to play as.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. And Dark Imperium fixes that.
It doesn't work in lore, because like even seeing that like your priest next to a Commissar next to, I don't even remember what Puffin was playing, but
Acolyte,
and then seeing an Astartes standing there, it's like the Astartes would just be like one hand, like you just like high five and everybody would die.
That was addressed, maybe not in the game itself. So that's actually true. Like in Warhammer, some of those characters they start off more powerful than others, right? The Marine and one of the other ones was that way. The other 2 characters actually get leveled up to be in their league.
That's how the Fantasy Flight for 40K is like for Dark Heresy. They're all the same system, but it's just like Space Marines start at this level, and to have a comparable Dark Heresy character, they'd be like 12th level.
Yes,
12th.
and it's exactly what it did. So it was tiers where, in order for us to be... So the Space Marine is considered a tier 3 character. We were playing tier 1 characters that were advanced to tier 3. So things had happened, they've done stuff, they've been around to actually warrant being there next to the Space Marine.
Makes sense why a guy is a Commissar and not a Guardsman.
So... Yeah, so I don't know. It worked for me, but I don't know any of the lore, so it was just fun. I liked the way the actual mechanics worked. It was like a crunchy system that played like a story system.
Well, it was also fast.
Yes,
the D6 pulls a lot faster than Shadowrun, and I love the fact that it seemed like because in Shadowrun it's always 5 or 6 to hit. That's always your threshold. Yeah. But in this one, the difficulty of the challenge reduced what you needed on the die, and your stats gave you more dice. So if the difficulty check was a 3, you needed 3 on the die, and you still rolled your dice pool. Yeah,
so just so you guys know, like, so the way it works for Warhammer 40K was you have dice pools of D6s. A 4 or above is a success. A 6 is, they called them icons, and it was 2 successes. So that's all you had to know. Did you roll a 4 or above? And then depending on your pool, if you had a pool of 6 and you needed 3 successes, then you could eyeball it and just know whether you succeeded or not. And then you could do cool things like, take those extras above what you needed and turn it into more damage or a different effect. Now, the one thing you probably couldn't see from what we were doing is you're supposed to have the wrath die. So the first die in all your pools should be different than the rest because that's where your critical successes and critical fumbles happen. But it's just, did you roll 1 or roll 6? So yeah. But a critical failure and a critical success means something different in that game. They're not as severe. So it's like you could succeed, but you rolled a critical fail on your, in your wrath die. So that just meant it's a complication. You hit the target, but you're gun jammed or something, and it's up to the player or. Actually, the way Ross did it is he left it up to us.
Oh.
What's the complication? What do you think would be a good complication for this? Or I imagine you could also, the GM could decide what it is as well. And then you had like the glory pool, which is you could use it to seize initiative. Or there was a similar pool, but I forget what it was called, that the GM had that he could use against you at different times.
It's probably corruption or something like that.
But it just made for it added to the narrative, and I feel like the mechanics kind of supported that. I would definitely play it again. It looks like the hardest part about that game would be character creation, just because you have so many different skills, the different weapons and gear, and you had a lot of like attributes. I think you had like 9 attributes, if I remember correctly. There's like 3 sections, and I think they each had 3 things in them. But I feel like once you got past that part, it plays really smoothly. So, I don't know if you guys had a chance to check that out. It was fun.
I have not had a chance to watch it, but based on our conversations, it's something I definitely would like to play. And I know a little bit more about 40K lore than you do, because I've played the game back in the day.
Yeah, most of my knowledge is fantasy, and that's just from.
It's not that far from it.
Yeah, it's from reading. And that's just from reading novels. So I've never played any of the tabletop games.
It is 5 till if we want to do the giveaway.
Oh, already?
Wow. That went quick.
How many people are watching?
We have
3.
we lost
25 viewers.
Right.
Well, so we got one more person added to the chat. So what's the verdict? Are we doing just the gamers, or are we doing all of it?
Let's just give it all.
All right.
I'm feeling it'd be easier for you. Just mail one person.
Okay.
I am ready when you are.
All right. We'll let the talkative one pick.
Okay, go.
That's you.
And
Does go mean stop?
no.
Okay.
Stop means stop.
Okay.
Go means go. So stop.
It will be Altriel.
Okay.
Nice. Hawaii. I don't know what it takes to ship to Hawaii.
That's not bad.
Guess we'll find out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you know what? Email us just to be safe. We probably do have your email, but email us.
Humans and Households, Journey Quest, City of Dead, Journey Quest Season 1, Journey Quest The Pale Lady, and the Gamers Trilogy.
Which is Gamers
Hands of
Hand
Fate, Director's Cut, and Darkness Rising. Bam.
Ooh, what is that, 7 of them?
7.
Darkness Rising is really
Nice. In the dollar bin, that'd be like $7.
Yeah.
They're not the dollar bin, man. They were sent to us from the gamer people.
No, we picked them up.
No, they were mailed to us.
Are you sure? Because I picked up
Just
movies.
You don't remember.
No, I picked up movies at one.
You notice how they don't have any stickers on them at all? That's the first clue.
They were mailed to us from the gamer people after we had them on the live chat.
I actually picked up a stack of DVDs from either Gen Con or Origins last year. Because you were like, hey, you have to stop by here. Because they were boothing with, who do we have the book from?
Mercedes Lucky?
Yes. They were boothing together.
Okay.
And that's how I got the book, because I went to pick up the movies. And she's like, here, you can take this. I'll sign it. I'm like, cool.
Altriel said they would give you the info, and they're actually in Northern Virginia, so will not be bad at all.
Not Hawaii.
Woo!
Not Hawaii.
Try to deliver it to you.
I'm not driving to North Virginia. Unfortunately, I don't even have a vehicle at the moment.
Bike trip.
My biking days are not near in shape as I would like them to be.
Yeah.
Not 25 miles per day for however many days that's going to take.
I've done a 50 miler. That's it's in the past though.
It was more than half your life ago. It doesn't really count.
It's as if somebody else did it.
I did.
Yes.
I've been doing 3s recently. I'm working back up.
350s or
No, it's 3 miles.
3 miles.
Okay.
In a car.
No. I pulled the bike back out. I'm trying to get some exercise in.
Good.
I know.
That's good.
That's good because some a-hole in the videos called you fat. They said you're getting fat. I was like, what a dick thing to say.
My kids say it too, so you know.
Yeah, but that's different. That's kids. Kids don't have filters. They just say what they're thinking.
Well, sometimes people on the internet do the same thing.
There's adult babies. So, you know.
Yeah, general rule. If you wouldn't say it in person, you probably shouldn't say it online.
Well, unfortunately, the world is not blessed.
I was actually like, why are they calling Ted fat? They're like, I'm so fat. Why are they calling Ted fat?
The world is not filled with an overabundance of common sense. So.
It is filled with an overabundance, though. But that's cool. I think Arthur L is the person I think they are. I'm not sure.
Well, seeing you said Hawaii, I don't know.
Yeah, but they were in the service, and
okay.
I think they were stationed over there.
Okay.
So it's very much possible that their service is up or they've been moved.
Any last minute questions?
Yes, there were. But I can remember a few of them. One was a challenge by Elfbait saying to make a monkey into a NPC monster threat.
Like the monkey?
Just a monkey.
Can he have like lasers on his forehead? Or?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would first off, I would go with, I don't know if it's currently in the interim of 5th edition, but you awaken it and have a lot of fun with it there.
Awaken is in there.
Okay,
Yeah.
then an awakened monkey I think would be a lot of fun.
My go-to is War Ape. The ape with the metal cuffs on it with the spikes on it.
Oh yeah, I've actually got
yeah.
a mini of one of those that we used recently.
Yeah, there's probably quite a few minis over there. I don't know. Early on, I used the rock gorillas on you guys. When some of you got your evil goat powers.
In years past, you used the anarchaic gorillas on us.
Oh yeah, and then Mark ended up getting one as a animal companion follower.
Dazzle.
Somehow, Dazzle. And then at some point I turned it into ground beef. Well, ground monkey. I don't know if monkeys are considered
Ground
beef.
meat. Let's just go with
You pasted that thing pretty hard.
Yeah.
He was quite upset.
He's still to this day. So much so that Ted actually ended up giving him a replica of Dazzle.
I did, and I gave it to him as a wondrous figure.
So Ted could kill it over and over and over
I
and over
didn't
again.
kill it last weekend. It's the first time he really pulled it out.
Yeah, it somehow lived.
Kobold Press's Tome of Beasts has a lot of different gorilla and monkey creatures. My favorite, I forget the name, but it's like it starts with an A or B. It's the like orange orangutan with
one
like
with a
snake
really
tentacle.
yeah.
ears.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, those things are pretty cool.
We could have a jungle dungeon, and it's infested with regular monkeys
Also known as a Jungeon.
that are tripping traps in the worst possible ways, and when you don't see it happening. So there's like, oh, it's a monkey on that like ceiling area over there.
Call the dungeon the Barrel of Monkeys.
Nice.
And that will bring us to time.
All right.
All right, with that, until next time,
Stay nerdy.